So, Chris, we could talk about Milwaukee, but I also want to talk about that shot of Trump surrounded by his followers, let's put it that way, Republican leaders, clapping. I'm just sorry to make the comparison, but I have to. Joe Biden would tell them to stop. This man needs so much from his followers. And I guess they made a decision here. A lot of them made a decision between self-respect and reality. Your thoughts?
Well, clearly there's Ted Cruz there, who he made fun of his wife. He made fun of his father, said he had something to do with killing Jack Kennedy. It's awful. Lindsey Graham mystifies me, just mystifies me that he's applauding there. Of course, they should remember that in Green Bay, Wisconsin, not far from Milwaukee, Donald Trump also said there needs to be some form of punishment for any woman that has an abortion. And I hope they keep remembering that. They keep forgetting that, the Democrats. This is where Trump is on the record, on tape, saying that. That was his initial frank, if you will, belief about abortion. And now he's all over the place trying to talk about exceptions. Oh, by the way, about Philly, and I'm thinking about Philadelphia, which is leading the division in baseball by almost 700% and wins. And the Brewers are leading their division. You know, people, not just in South Philly, drive their cars to the Phillies games. It's all over Jersey, South Jersey, all over the state of Delaware, the entire state of Delaware. It's all over southeastern Pennsylvania. It's not just the city. It's everybody in the neighborhood roots for the team, especially when they're doing well. So he's got to be careful when you start insulting cities where people really do have their neighborhood. That's where they root for. They pick up the paper and they say, how'd the Phillies do? What's going on there? How'd they do with the pitching? I'm telling you, you've been making fun of a lot of people when you make fun of major cities. People still consider them their downtown.
I'll just note that the Phillies just lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox this week. Senator Franken, let's get you in on this. This is not just Republicans showering Donald Trump with applause and praise. They're doing so in the shadow of the building where so many of them had to run for their lives on January 6th from a mob that Donald Trump incited. And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who that night, the night of January 6, 2021, with sharp words denounced Donald Trump and said he would be held criminally responsible for what he did. Not only has he endorsed him, but yesterday warmly received him back to the Capitol.
Yeah, well, he did that in his speech when he announced that he was not going to vote to convict him, right? That was the speech where he said there's no doubt that he's responsible. And he did one of these speeches which had the but in it. I think Howard Feynman wrote about that and said that there's that but, which is the most important word in a lot of politicians' speeches. And he says, but this is something that the court should take care of. And I think that he wasn't talking about, he was saying, I don't think he believed that there was immunity for the president when he said that. Yeah, so McConnell, I don't think McConnell had talked to Trump in 4 years since that time.
And that is, by the way, Al Franken, one of the reasons we had you on today was to talk about Howard Feynman and Chris as well, and we'll do that in just a moment for sure. But, I mean, looking at that video, Mara Gay, and seeing these Republicans bend over backwards to welcome the man in the place where he incited a riot, okay? And that place was trashed because of him. People are in jail because of him, and yet these people are willing to do this. And I mean it in all honesty. We've already lost 50 years of rights. And it feels to me that how can you trust any Republican who supports Donald Trump at this point, which is most of them, to defend women in the face of other battles ahead when it comes to our freedoms and our rights and our health care?
Yeah, you know, looking at this room, that I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it has a feel something more akin to what you would see out of state media from North Korea than it does from the United States. just the obsequious flattery. It's really sickening. But pulling back a moment, it really is disturbing because it should take us back to 2016 when there were many reasonable, smart Americans who said to themselves, well, I don't really like either candidate, but how bad can Trump be? And I think there was a lack of, just a failure of imagination about how bad things could get, about how much of a threat this man and his movement really was to democracy. And I think this is a moment to re-examine these stakes, which are even higher, because, of course, this is a candidate who has said if he was elected again, that he would have an entire term based on retribution. And it's very clear that these Republicans, that the American political party that has allowed themselves to be corrupted by him, there are very few people left in the room, if anyone, who will stop him from desecrating this democracy, from using the country's institutions to dismantle that democracy. And so you wonder, will we even see the same kind of moments of political courage that we did from some Republicans on January 6th? It doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like those people are no longer anywhere near Donald Trump. And what's left is a room filled with people who will do anything that he wants and says. And that should really send a chill down the back of every American. And I think we really should be thinking about that, because I think voters have a tendency to forget how bad it was under Donald Trump, but also to forget that a lot of people didn't think it was going to be that bad. And again, I think that we should use our imagination. Things could get much worse.